Are you addicted to Instagram? Are you very flashy? Do you love to show off and make others jealous? Well, if yes, maybe you have prominent planets in Rohini Nakshatra, like the sun, the moon, or the ascendant, or the Lord of the Ascendant, or maybe you have two, three, four, five, or maybe eight planets in Rohini. Why? Because Rohini Nakshatra is a very incredibly powerful nakshatra. It is the Janma Nakshatra of Bhagwan Shri Krishna himself. Krishna had his moon in Rohini. So therefore, Rohini is one of those stellar nakshatras, which is also a Sthira Nakshatra. So thumbs up to Rohini Nakshatra. And it's a very powerful nakshatra for long-term growth, prosperity, and seduction also. All right, so 10 karmic lessons for Rohini Nakshatra. I will not go into details of what this nakshatra is. That I'm very sure you must have already done through other YouTube videos. But now, if you have Rohini Nakshatra, what should be your outlook towards life and how should you deal with your plus and minus? All right, so that's what we are going to discuss. So don't forget to like the video if you enjoy it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And for personalized consultations, the website is down below. God is there with you all the time. Just look to Him and you will surely find Him. First lesson for Rohini Nakshatra. Please balance your sensuality with spirituality. What does it mean? Rohini Nakshatra, people may be very, very, very sensual by nature. Sensual, not just, in a sexual way, but, you might have a very good taste for fine things, like fine dining, like bags, cars, homes, opposite sex and all this, so which is fine, nothing wrong with it, but it should not go to some extreme where you start to think that this is all that matters in life, because don't forget, Lord Krishna has himself said in the Gita that Dukhalayam Ashashvata, material world is a place of misery. So if you have these things, it's not a problem. But if these things start owning you, then there's a problem, because eventually, one day or the other, at the time of death, you will be stripped of all of these things. Okay. So, therefore, balance your sensual life with your spiritual life. So, do spiritual practices in the morning and stay committed to your spouse and indulge in luxuries, but with limitations. All right. Number two, you might have a tendency to become jealous, or maybe other people are jealous of you because you are good looking, you are intelligent, you are rich, or whatever, you are very smart, you have a lot of charisma, or maybe you are jealous of somebody who has all of this. All right. So therefore, you need to understand that possessiveness and mood swings is okay to some extent, but it should not go to such an extreme that it starts to consume your existing relationships. Okay, so therefore, be possessive and have mood swings, but in a limit, not beyond. Number three, you might be blessed with a lot of luxury and abundance. So why are people with Rohini Nakshatra blessed? Because they must have done some good karma. They must have given a lot of donations or helped people when required. So that is why you are blessed in this life to have Rohini Nakshatra. But how you can screw it up is by now using all of these merits for yourself. So use for yourself, have a great life, but also be generous. Okay. Uh, Give charity, try to help others and try to do it selflessly. Okay. That's very important. Number four, you need to develop patience in relationships. And when I talk of relationships, I specifically mean your love relationships, okay, or with your spouse. So patience and understanding is very important, because Rohini Nakshatra, you might be overly demanding sometimes, or overly possessive. As I said, possessiveness is a big issue. Or you might be like, oh, my wife should make this much amount of money, my wife should always be putting makeup, my husband should earn this much, he should have a six pack. So maybe you are very smart and you are very attractive, and so you might expect the other person also to be like that, and maybe that person cannot come up to your standard. So then you might try to, humiliate that person. Or you may say things like, oh, why did I stay with you? My life is ruined after staying with you. Or your mind may also tempt you to look for somebody else who is better than your spouse. So therefore, you need to develop patience in relationships, okay? Or else, if your partner is a prominent Rohini, your partner may do this to you, okay? So then you also have to have a genuine conversation and remind your partner that they need to be patient, okay? Number 5, please embrace creativity at all fronts, okay? So try to be creative, do creative hobbies, indulge in creativity, art, music, writing. So whenever there is a whenever there is some event related to art or music or like whatever it is, some cooking event, food and all this, so indulge yourself in that, okay? That's very important for you. You will do very good there, and you will also feel very good, okay? So embrace creativity. Number 6 is you should focus on your self development internal, because this is one of the biggest problems with Rohini Nakshatra. You might put up such a nice face in front of the world that people may think, or maybe you force them to think directly or indirectly, that you are perfect, okay? So because of this, what happens, you don't get any bad feedback from anybody, because generally if you are performing poorly in some area, somebody other or the other will give you some feedback. Maybe if you are being too rash, your spouse will tell you or your parents will tell you. But maybe you are so perfect at putting up this, image, that because that's your focus, the image, that everybody feels you are just made by God, okay, made, tailor made. So but the problem is, if you continue doing this and your mental health declines, then what happens is, you might always eventually, not now, after for 10 years, 20 years, when you are in your 50s or 60s, when you can't work that much, when you are not that good looking anymore, when you can't enjoy that much, you might realize that you don't have any genuine friends, okay? Or you are not happy materially, spiritually, mentally, or you are very unhappy, okay? So therefore, along with material luxuries, f- please emphasize on genuine connections and develop yourself also spiritually. This is very important. Number 7, you may overindulge in luxuries, and especially drinking and with members of the opposite sex. Very careful, Rohini and Kritika, very careful with the opposite sex. So your health and vitality, sexually transmitted diseases, for example, they could occur, okay? Because Rohini and Kritika, you might have a tendency to go on a rampage, okay? So therefore, prioritize your well-being, your mental well-being, your physical well-being also. And this can also be because of overindulgence in food, So have a balanced diet, exercise regularly. Okay. So both are important, your mental health and physical health. Number 8, this is maybe the most important lesson for Rohini. You should try to be content. Okay. Practice contentment within yourself, because Rohini can have a trait where you are constantly pursuing something better. Okay. You are constantly pursuing something which you will never achieve. Or it could be that you are not grateful for whatever you have. So be grateful, cultivate gratefulness, cultivate gratitude, because many a times you may realize that, yeah, I mean, you have a lot in your life, okay, compared to natives of other nakshatras. But you may be so ungrateful that God now decides to take away his blessings from you, okay? So therefore, practice gratitude and your life will change. All right. Number 9, please don't deceive others by using your charm. Very, very, very important. Rohini Nakshatra people can be extremely charming, especially if your Lagna your Lagnesh or your moon or your fifth lord, your seventh lord, your eighth lord is in Rohini, you could be a master of seduction depending on the horoscope. So if you use this charm, seductive charm to, deceive people, then this will wreak havoc in your life. This is very dangerous. Okay. So therefore, if you are very smart and you are intelligent, use it for right purposes, great in social media, become an entrepreneur, do creative work, be brilliant, nothing wrong with it. But if you, again, red, if you cross the red line, punishment is waiting for you. Okay. And number 10, please stay grounded. Because for Rohini, again, the same rule. You might have so much that you might look down on others who don't have. Or you might have this external world, million followers in Instagram, billion followers in YouTube, and all the modern gadgets, all Louis Vuitton bags, iPhone, MacBook, all the fancy things which the world tries to sell you and to convince you that you can't be happy without all this. Okay. So if you have all this, then you might lose out on life later on. Okay. Because you may realize that these things did not make you happy at all. Because these things can sometimes make you overconfident, very proud, very narcissistic, and you might look down upon others. Okay. So if you have Rohini, count on your blessings. Go and crush it in your profession and in your creative zone. Have a good life with your spouse and with your family, with your children, and donate and be grounded. All right. So, very, very, very important, Rohini. All right. So, I hope these 10 lessons helped you. And please let me know down in the comments what other lessons have you seen other Rohini Nakshatra natives getting in their life. All right. I would love to see that in the comments. And for personalized consultations, you can go to my website down in the description section. God is there with you all the time. Just look to Him and you will find Him. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. All right. Take care.